Okay, for this problem, it says you apply a force of 250 newtons to the bike pedals, and they transfer a force of 960 newtons to the chain. The chain uses the rear wheel to exert 520 newtons of force to the road. What is the mechanical advantage of the bike? So this is a compound machine, a bicycle. It's basically two wheel and axle machines connected by a pulley system. And as you can see from the diagram, we're applying an effort force of 250 newtons, which creates a resistance force of 960 newtons at the pedals. That force becomes the effort force on the rear wheel of 960 newtons, and that force then gets applied to the ground, creating a resistance force of 520 newtons. So we know that this is a compound machine, and we basically have two machines hooked together. So we can say the mechanical advantage of both machines is the product of the mechanical advantage of each individual machine. So we can say mechanical advantage total is mechanical advantage 1 multiplied by mechanical advantage 2. So for the first machine, the pedal part of the machine, mechanical advantage at the beginning is FR1 over FE1, or resistance force over effort force for the first part, times the resistance force for the second part, FR2, divided by the effort force on the rear wheel, FE2. And if we plug in these forces, for FR1 we're going to use the 960 newtons, the resistance force at the pedals from the chain. For the effort force is 250 newtons. And then on the wheel and axle, the effort force from the chain is 960 newtons, and the resistance force is 520 newtons. So we're going to multiply by 520 divided by 960. Now notice what happens here. The resistance force on the first part cancels out with the effort force on the second part. They're both the same force, so the 960 newtons cancels out, and so you end up with the mechanical advantage is equal to the final resistance force, FR2, divided by the input force of your feet of the effort, which is FE1. That equals 520 newtons divided by 250 newtons. Gives us a total mechanical advantage for this machine of, I believe it's 2.08. So around 2.1. You get about twice the output force on this bicycle to what you put in. So that is how you calculate the total mechanical advantage of a compound machine.